Finally at a guard, number 10, Nancy Lieberman.
My name is Ben McGrath, and I've written a piece this week about Nancy Lieberman, who, if you were a basketball fan or a sports fan of a certain age, you might remember as Lady Magic, kind of the Magic Johnson of the women's game.
Nancy Lieberman on the move.
The legend of Lady Magic and Nancy Lieberman begins in 1976. She makes the Olympic team. She's 18 years old. She becomes the youngest person ever to win an Olympic basketball medal. After college, she signed a contract with the Dallas Diamonds of the Women's Professional Basketball League. She moved on in the mid-'80s and became the first woman to play in a men's professional basketball league. I think she realized that although she could hang, it was difficult. She was always going to be a mediocrity to some extent, playing among men, as she told me. You know, Lieberman had always kind of stayed active in the basketball community. When the WNBA came around, she played a year as a 39-year-old, and then she started coaching. She became an ESPN analyst. At the end of 2009, she accepted the job to be the coach of the Texas Legends in the D-League. The D-League, its official name is the NBA Development League. I guess you might call it the equivalent of AAA baseball. So Nancy is the first woman to be coaching a men's professional team at this high a level in any sport. One of the things you hear when you talk to other coaches and players is, there's no difference. Why do we care if it's a man or a woman coaching us? That said, a lot of her players and Nancy herself would then make a point of saying how often she likes to tell her players that she loves them and how many hugs they give.
Every day we love you. Go do what you do best, okay? Let's win. 1, 2, 3.
Win! And I think it almost became a kind of a joke that the team used to rally itself around. I talked to some other, coach on one of the rival teams, and he sort of shook his head, and, he was a big admirer of Nancy's, but he said, I would never tell my guys I love them. There is the question, of course, of, well, what's the next step then for someone like Nancy? What is the next milestone? Some people have wondered, could she coach in the NBA? I think if she wanted to do that, the next step would be to be an assistant coach in the NBA, and several people I talked to mentioned that that's a possibility.